Hey everyone, and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. Want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from Russia, and today I have a story to share with you that shows that Russia is very concerned over the potential sanctions that U.S. President Donald Trump may hit the Russian economy with as soon as August 8th, this coming Friday. And the Kremlin is currently looking for any outlet to continue the war in Ukraine and lessen the impact of these incoming sanctions. Take a look at this new report here on your screen. Russia considers a limited ceasefire in Ukraine as a gesture to Trump threats. Russia is considering options for concessions to U.S. President Donald Trump, which may include an aerial truce with Ukraine to try to prevent the threat of U.S. sanctions. All right, so as you can see from this information, it really looks like the Kremlin is trying to figure out any way they can continue the fighting on the front line inside of Ukraine, but maybe give up a little something to U.S. President Donald Trump. That way we don't see the Russian economy getting hit so hard by these sanctions. And I'm curious to see if this is actually going to work. We haven't heard any response coming out from Trump just yet, but Bloomberg was originally reporting this story today, and I want to show you guys some information regarding this. Let's go ahead and hop into this real quick on investing.com, but they're citing Bloomberg today. It says Russia considers air truce with Ukraine to avoid U.S. sanctions, according to Bloomberg. And this just coming out today on August 5th, 2025. And it says right here, the Kremlin is considering options for a concession to U.S. President Donald Trump that might include an air truce with Ukraine, according to Bloomberg News. This potential move aims to avoid the threat of secondary sanctions, even as Russia remains committed to continuing its war in Ukraine. Russian officials see U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff's visit to Russia this week as a late opportunity for agreement with Trump, though expectations for success are low, according to people familiar with the matter. One possible proposal being weighed is a pause on airstrikes involving drones and missiles as a de-escalation gesture, provided Ukraine also agrees to the terms. Despite considering this limited concession, President Vladimir Putin will not agree to a general ceasefire in Ukraine as Russian forces continue to make steady advances on the battlefield. Russia's overall war aims remain unchanged. It remains unclear whether any offer of restraint would include conditions that Ukraine and its allies would find acceptable. Now, this is interesting. So we have heard over the last few weeks that U.S. President Donald Trump was very unhappy and disappointed with Vladimir Putin. He would come out and say that he would have a nice conversation on the phone with Putin, and then all of a sudden Putin would launch missiles onto Ukraine and drones and kill innocent civilians, striking towns and settlements, cities inside of Ukraine, like Kiev, for example, the capital. We've seen this numerous times throughout this war, and maybe that's why Russian President Vladimir Putin is considering this, that maybe Trump might give in and be like, okay, well, that's what we were calling for. We wanted an end to the killing of innocent people inside of Ukraine. But we've also heard from Trump as well that he wants the fighting to stop on the battlefield. He's come out with some of the numbers saying that 5,000 to 7,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers are dying every week in this war. So it's not just attacks on Ukrainian civilians that he's worried about. He wants the killing to stop completely inside of Ukraine. That includes, Russian and Ukrainian troops on the front line that are battling. So I'm curious to see if Trump will give in to something like this. I'm thinking he probably won't, considering he has been very hard on Russia over the last few weeks and stating that he wants a complete end to this war, a peace deal signed with Ukraine by Friday. If not, they're going to get hit by these sanctions. And it looks to me like Putin is trying to find any way out of that to continue at least a limited type of fighting inside of Ukraine and maybe a temporary air truce for right now. So just wanted to share some of these details with you guys and get it out there for you, let you know what the Kremlin is planning. I'll follow this story, and as soon as I get more updates, I'll let you guys know what is going on with this. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this update. Let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. But that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.